dead internet theory. It's been around for over a decade, but it's one of those conspiracies that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, everyone was like, this is nonsense. Who stands to gain from, the internet being dead and being a Potemkin village style thing? But now people are coming around to it. And the principal assertion of dead internet theory is that frankly, an alarming amount of global internet traffic, engagements, likes, comments, bot behavior is totally inorganic. And that we are now at a point, as of 2024, according to a few different data analytics firms I looked at, where we are now true minorities as real people on the internet as of 2024. Some companies like Cloudflare say that happened years and years ago. The more conservative, not conservative like Republican, conservative like in their estimates, they're just now saying it, that like, yeah, we are now a minority. There are more bots than us. And so that's the core of it. And I think it's really reasonable because you look at some of these companies, Cloudflare, Imperva, a lot of them make annual reports called a bad bot report, where they use their data, their analytics, and they analyze the percentage of internet traffic that they believe to be organic or inorganic, like bots. And like I said, 2024 was the first time Imperva said we are true minorities. And you might say like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense because, there's no way 50% of every comment section on Reddit, on YouTube, on Twitter is all inorganic. And that's true. It's not 50% because you have to break down the types of bots. Not all the bots online are malevolent or insidious or something. They estimated that 14% of global online traffic in 2024 was good bots. So the kind of stuff that like crawls search engines to index web pages, just like useful stuff.
Wayback Machine.
Yeah, exactly. And so that stuff's fine. It's not messing with your ability to use the internet. But then they also said that an all-time high of, I think it was 38% of internet traffic, this company Imperva estimated is bad bots. And a bad bot, a lot of the data firms I found had different definitions for what they called a bad bot. But
I call them clankers.
The clankers? Yeah, I saw that. I saw the first slur for the for the robots, and I like clankers. And so they basically said these clankers, there's 38% of the internet being taken up by these guys. And a bad bot can mean anything from like a malevolent malware program that's trying to steal your identity and take out some fraudulent loan and Russia with it, all the way down to a bot that just harasses you on social media because something's gone haywire and it's just bothering you. And so like all this to say, a bad bot just means unwanted behavior, annoying, unproductive behavior. And that's 38% of the internet. And this was from a very, very conservative estimation source. Like I said, Cloudflare estimated that, I think their number was 65% of global internet traffic is totally inorganic, bots, AI, not real. There's no person sitting there upvoting that Reddit post 10,000 times. There's no person retweeting or liking that post 1,000,000 times. It's not real. And so basically to establish this, we have to say there's both the means and the incentive to flood the internet with bots. And with a lot of conspiracies, you have kind of a core head honcho bad guy where it's like, yes, this is the sinister guy who's flooding the internet with bots. But that's not what it is. It's a lot of convergent, independent interests. So like the entertainment industry uses bots on sites like Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit to create fake conversations to drive AstroTurf narratives to push people to go to the theater. They've been caught doing this. And so that's why maybe you go on Reddit and you see some post that's like, oh, Iron Man 24 is coming out. And then you go to the comments and everybody's raving. They're excited. They're jubilant over the prospect of Iron Man 24. And the point of that, those bots doing that, is to target you. And you're looking at it going, well, I'm a human in 2025. And so most of my reality is constructed by what the consensus on every screen I see throughout the day is. And so I'm missing out. Man, I guess there's a huge amount of organic attention towards Iron Man 24. I need to go see it. And so that was an intentional way for the entertainment industry to use bots to manipulate your perception of reality in order to make you feel like like you were missing out. So you had to get there and do it. The University of Zurich over the past like half decade have done a ton of research into bots in as far as using bots to manipulate and create manufactured consensus in forums like Reddit or Twitter or Facebook, Instagram. And what they found, this was, I think it was earlier this year or maybe last year, the University of Zurich did yet another one where they were like, you know what? I'm interested to see how quickly we could create an army of bots that not only manipulated people's perceptions on Reddit, because this was a specifically Reddit study, but also how quickly will they like assimilate into the rest of the site? Like, so that, you know, it's not just, hey, why is this account just commenting 100 times about Iron Man 24? Like creating a real looking identity that was commenting on different forums and everything. And what they said is, quote, it was phenomenally easy. It was so fast. They said that as like within a couple days, because all they had to do was train the bot army on Reddit style speaking, how people type, what the narratives they wanted push, what the ones they wanted kind of depressed were. And they said almost immediately they started leaving comments. They seemed to be organic, and they were rapidly able to start manipulating people's perceptions on these forums. And there was no way for people. This is the kind of thing that just a few years ago, or if this wasn't a study and if it was some like DARPA program, people would go, oh, you're crazy. That's just, you know, people are excited about this silly movie, but that's not the case. It's totally astroturfed. It's not real. We need to be more on guard than ever for this shit, because I can totally see how 10, 15 years ago, the dead internet theory, people were like, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem that way. Now, in the last 2 years in particular, since the explosion of AI and the ability to train these things even more rapidly and deploy them in mass, like the internet is as dead as it's ever been now, if truly over half of internet traffic is inorganic. But the scary thing is we're moving to a deader and deader and deader and deader internet every single day, every single month, every single year, because now these government organizations, these NGOs, organizations like DARPA, large industrial firms, entertainment houses, they all know now that this works. Like, it's not in the theory stage anymore. They know they can manipulate people's perceptions in order to drive certain purchasing decisions, certain outlooks, get them to vote a certain way. The 2016 election, like, that's like small potatoes. It was a big deal at the time, but like 10,000 Russian bots in 2016, like think of how much changed in 10 years technologically and what's possible now. And so it's not just evil oligarchs and Americans, it's foreign governments. We know Israel, China, Turkey, Ukraine, Belarus, the United States. A lot of these countries have been caught red-handed doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And so we've established that the means to do it is there, and the incentive is there, because the proof is in the pudding. They can manipulate your perspective on things. A big example of this is way back in 2014, Reddit fucked up when they posted a traffic report. And it was meant to be a lighthearted thing where they're like, hey, this is where people use Reddit. And here's like the list of the most Reddit addicted cities. And then, you know, the purpose being that people could go, oh, I live in Milwaukee, or I live in St. Louis, or, you know, Dubai. I wonder where I am on the list. But they immediately had to take it down because they fucked up, and they showed the most Reddit addicted city was Eglin Air Force Base, an Air Force base with only 2,000 people that was responsible for somehow hundreds of thousands of accounts and all of these things. And it's like, really, that's really fascinating. And what did they do?
U.S. Air Force Base?
A U.S. Air Force Base. Yep, Eglin Air Force Base.
Home of the 688th Cyberspace Test Squadron, I believe.
Yeah.
And then actually on that most Reddit addicted cities list, the number 2 city was Oak Brook, Illinois, which is also home to some other big spooky data center.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know about the number 2 one. I just know that then I guess the top 2 were both compromised, inorganic, not real. And remember, this is way back in 2014. Shit has advanced a lot in that time. And so they immediately had to delete that. And like Tom was saying, this wasn't an Air Force base where they're like, I can't wait to be like Top Gun and fly around. It's like, no, they were a cyber warfare, a cyber division. They were studying how to manipulate people's perceptions of reality online, how to manufacture consensus on different, opinions about a potential conflict globally, trying to get more people on board and more people to change opinion. Like, they were studying this intensely. We also know the U.S. government did it through DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. And anytime I've heard anything about DARPA, it's always very sketchy. And they still maintain to this day, like, yeah, just because you fucking caught us 9 times now doing this doesn't mean we do it. And so they'll deny it up and down. But they have been caught multiple times using bots to try and manipulate people's perspectives about geopolitical happenings and events. And it's really what DARPA is doing with the bots and the manufacturer consensus and whatnot. It is the same shit that we mock China and Russia for doing with their internet. It's the same fucking thing. It's just us doing it. And so like, it's less of a hot button thing. We don't really draw that much attention to our own seedy nonsense comparatively to our geopolitical enemies. But the big thing is this is not even a political left-right issue. It's we are being deceived intentionally, actively, and systematically by powerful government organizations. And that has led to, and will continue to lead to, further explosion of the bot and inorganic content online to where 10 years from now, it may really feel like you're alone because we already have a phenomenally siloed internet now compared to what it used to be. Like we've got what are there, 10 websites?
Yeah.
Remember 2002? It's like, nothing on E-Bomb's world. I go to fucking, I got to go to Albino Black Sheep now. I got to go to something awful.
Dude, I would dispute that because I remember when I was a kid clearing the internet history after a good porn masturbation session. Like, all right, clear all this. But then there's nothing there. And I'm like, nothing seems worse than like bigbooties.com. So I'm just like, fuck. Coca-Cola.com? They must have thought I was going to be a soda engineer or something like that. I'm like, I'm going to Pepsi.com and Nike.com, just products. So there's some search history.
You were just going, I remember doing
USA.gov.
Yeah.
I didn't know any websites. I was just looking around the room. I was like, guys are sozaing my way out of it.
Look at Mountain Dew 3 times. Just over and over.
I literally went to Coca-Cola.com.
The DARPA thing is unbelievably suspicious. They even have a subsection called the SMISC, the Social Media in Strategic Communications, and they've been active publicly since 2011. I'm sure prior to that they were doing their thing, but the entire purpose their stated purpose is to use bots, astroturfed internet behavior in order to quote combat misinformation, which misinformation is whatever DARPA doesn't like whatever the government doesn't like nobody ever fact checks something good for their side. You know, if a story came out like when Trump is like deporting some person for being anti-Israel at a protest, they don't see a sign and go, I don't think that's factually correct. We got to get rid of that guy. Like, no, like if someone had a sign there that was like Trump saves 1,000 puppies a day, that's totally a lie, but they wouldn't be fact checking that, would they? Like, so any sort of fact checking, any sort of quote unquote misinformation control is just about narrative control in reality. And so, and something else, this is towards the end of it, you know, so I think I established that a huge amount of the internet is fake. It's increasing more and more every year. Even by conservative estimates, it's over half of the internet at this point that is AI, bots, not real, inorganic. There's no person on the other end.
That makes me feel better, though, because I like sometimes when I see a controversial Reddit post, like if it's maybe police violence or some riot or something, or an Israeli-Palestinian thing, I'll go and I'll read the comments. And it's like, oh my God, are these real people? Is this how real human beings think about anything? Like they seem so radical and like stupid sometimes that imagining that some of that at least is just a bad bot or a stupid bot or a bot that's meant to inflame someone like me so that I write some paragraph trying to disprove the ridiculous thing they just said.
It could be a bot from the US government trying to,
because I remember
YouTube about an event that's inorganic to get you to think, well, I don't want to be the odd man out, because we're so social. No one wants to feel on the out. And so
like
if you
10
see
or 15 years ago, like YouTube comments used to be normal, decent people that you could have a conversation with.